Good morning, class. Let's us start with our new chapter, Basic Problem of an Economy. Dear student, in this chapter we will study about economic problem, central problem of an economy, what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce, and efficient use of resources. And in the last we will study about economic growth and development. Okay, student. The first basic question is, what is economic problem? Dear student, we all know that human wants are unlimited, but the means or resources which can satisfy these wants are limited. Okay, in our basic life we will see that we have limited resources but our wants are unlimited. So with those limited resources we have to fulfill all those unlimited wants. Dear students, resources are not only scarce but also have the alternative uses. Okay, suppose you have 100 rupees. With those 100 rupees you wish to buy a pizza for you, for a stationary product for you, or a book for you. Okay, so you have to choose that which good you want to buy first. Okay, it's all it depend upon the priority of or the intensity of the product which you want to buy first. Okay, so you have the problem of choice because you have scarce resources. You have only 100 rupees. Suppose if you have rupees 500, then there is no problem. You can buy stationery, you can buy pizza, you can buy books. So because of the availability of limited resources in every economy, a problem of choice arises. So scarcity of resources is the hard fact of life, dear student, and it is a universal problem. Okay, now scarcity refers to the situation where there exists only limited amount of resources, due to which we can produce only limited amount of goods. Okay, student, so because of this scarcity of resources and the fact that the resources have alternative uses have lead to the emergence of economic problem. Dear student, that's why we can easily say that economic problem is the problem of rational management of resources, or the problem of optimum utilization of resources. Okay, the resources which you have, how efficiently you manage those resources, how rationally you manage those resources, it's simply known as the economic problem. This is the known as the economic problem. Now this problem arises because of two reasons. Okay, always remember, because of two reasons. First, the resources are scarce. Okay, second, resources have alternative uses. First, the resources which you have is scarce, and the resources which you have alternative uses. You can alternatively use that resource. So uh, because of these two, our economic problem arises, which is rational management of resources. Okay, dear student, in the words of Leftovich, economic problem is concerned with the uses of scarce resources among alternative human wants, and is using these resources towards the end of satisfying wants as fully as possible. Okay, student, now move to our next point, which is causes of economic problem. What are the causes? What are the basic reason of economic problem? As I told you that there are basic reasons like unlimited want. We have unlimited want, and second, we have limited resources. Third, resources have alternative uses. So these 3 points are the main causes of economic problem. In the words of Professor Lionel Robbins of London School of Economics, in his book that book title was An Essay on the Nature and Significance of Economic Science, published in 1932, has given the following reasons for the emergence of economic problem. These are the reasons for according to the Lionel Robbins. Okay, the first one is unlimited want. Again, as I told you that human wants or ends are unlimited. Okay, suppose you wish to buy a book for you, then your parents give you money and you will buy that book. After that a new wants arises. You wish to buy a bike for you. Okay, when you buy when you buy the bike, okay, then you after satisfying this wish, a new wish arises. Okay, so now you wish to buy a pizza for you. The when your pizza wish is fulfilled, then after that a new wish arises. So our wants are unlimited, because when one want satisfy, a new wants incurred or new was emerged. Okay, so many of human want are recurring in nature. They are to be satisfied repeatedly. Okay, student, so moreover human wants are increased day by day with the development of the education, knowledge and civilization. For example, some time back there was hardly any demand for computers. color television, VCRs. Okay, now we can see the demand increases day by day because of the increase in technology, because of the development of education. So our human wants are unlimited. Okay, therefore an individual has a scale of preference. As I told you, we have a scale of preference. Okay, he can list various wants in order to their urgency, and he will always have to choose between different wants. As I told you that if you have 100 rupees, you have to choose between which goods and services you wish to buy, okay, or you wish to produce. So you have to choose because of scarcity of resources. Okay, that's why human wants are unlimited, dear student. Okay, and whenever your one want fulfilled, your next want ultimately emerge. Okay, and a new want emerge in the economy. Next point is limited resources. Dear student, as we know that we have limited resources, goods and services that satisfy human wants are produced with the help of resources like land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. Okay, these resources, these productive resources are called factor of production. Okay, these resources are scarce while wants are unlimited. So no doubt the supply of resources has increased over time, but their demand has also been greater than their supply. Okay, it simply represents that demand is greater than supply because the resources are in limited quantity. So you have to choose which goods you want to produce, which goods you can leave. So it's depend upon, so it arises a problem of choice because of this. Now our next point is resources have alternative uses. Dear student, as we all know that we have limited resources, our wants are unlimited. So because of this, because of this a problem rises like alternative uses. We have the problem of choice. So the resources have alternative uses. So you have to choose which goods you wish to produce. Okay, resources are not only limited but have the alternative use. For example, electricity can be used for lighting lamp, or for cooking food, or for operating television, refrigerator, etc. Many other uses. Hence, choice has to be made between different alternative uses. Similarly, a piece of land can be used for produce wheat, cotton, vegetable, etc. Depend upon its fertility and suitability. That piece of land you can use for cultivation, you can use for farming, you can use for construction. Okay, you can use for making amusement park. Okay, so the piece of land you can use in different alternative ways. This is simply known as resources have alternative uses. Okay student, now summarizing our economic problem with the help of a flow chart, you can see that economic problem. Okay, first, wants are unlimited. Economic problem represents that our wants are unlimited and means are limited. Means resources. Okay, resources, our resources are limited but our wants are unlimited. Wants these unlimited wants, okay, creates a competitive because they differ in intensity. Okay, some wants are high, some are low, so they generate a competitiveness between different goods or services. Which goods you want to buy first, which you want to buy later on. Okay, and means are limited. It simply means resources are limited. So because of, so with the availability of these limited resources, these resources have alternative use. So you have to choose. Okay, you have to choose which goods you wish to produce, which not. So because of these, as I told you, the problem of choice arises, and this is the economizing of resources. This is simply known as economizing of resources. Okay student, so this flow charts represent the economic problem. Okay, so be careful whenever we talk about economic problem. Just said that economic problem means rational management of resources with limited resources and unlimited want, and because of this a problem of choice arises. Okay, okay student, next let's move to our next part, which is central problem of an economy. This is our next point, central problem of an economy. Dear student, I will recently we studied about economic problems and all. Okay, now we will deal about what is the main problem of an economy. Okay, economics deal with the way society choose to use its limited resources, which have alternative uses, to produce goods and services and distribute them among different groups. The compulsion of making choices between societies is referred to as central problem. The word central means common to all economies. These problems are common to all economies, whether you have capitalist economies, socialist economics, mixed economy. So you all have faced these three problems. These three problems are: the first one, what to produce; second is how to produce; third is whom to produce. Okay, so these are the three central problem of an economy. Okay, what to produce, how to produce, and whom to produce. Now first, what to produce. Dear student, what to produce and the what quantity. Okay, these what to produce and in what quantity are basically the problem of what possible commodities to produce. Okay, and how much of the chosen commodity to produce. Okay, so this what to produce is the problem arises between capital goods or consumer goods. You have to choose which good you want to produce. Okay, so this is basically the choice between capital good and consumer good. Okay, student. So since since its resources are limited, every economy has to decide what commodity are to be produced and in what quantity. In view of limited resources, when we produce more of commodity, it means we will be able to produce less of another. It is because more production of one commodity would force us to withdraw resources from the production of another commodity. Okay, after deciding the goods to be produced, economy has to decide the quantity of each choosing commodity. It means it has to decide regarding that what quantity of consumer or capital goods or war goods are to be produced. Dear student, this is basically what to produce means what good you wish to produce, whether you wish to produce a consumer goods or you wish to produce a capital goods. If you produce a consumer good, dear student, then the need of present generation will be fulfilled. Okay, but due to the production of consumption good, your GDP growth will remain low down, will remain short or remain low down. Okay, your economy will not grow that much as in the case of capital good. And when you produce more of capital good, then it is good for our economy and it represent your future growth when you produce a capital good. So you have to choose which good you have to produce, capital good or consumer good. So this is the problem of what to produce. Okay, according to economy it varies. If you are underdeveloped economy, if you are a poor economy, you will produce consumer good more. If you are a developed economy, then you will produce a capital good more. Okay, student. So the as you can see in the example, the economy has to choose between consumer good like wheat, clothes, shoes, sugar, etc., or the capital good like machinery, machines and tools. So between education and health service and military services, within the education sector, a choice is to be made between more of basic education or more of higher education. So you have to choose. Okay, in every point in the economy you are facing the problem of choice because of availability of resources, because of scarce resources. The decision about the allocation of resources for the production of various goods is not simple. Okay, for example, if it is decided to produce more of consumer good and less of capital good, it would mean that present generation enjoy good quality of life. As I told you, that present generation is enjoy good quality of life, but the cost of future generation, it pays the cost of future generation. So capital good is good in the case of poor economy, low developed economy, and capital good is good in the case of developed economy. It is represent our future growth, GDP growth increases. So this is the point of what to produce. Our next point is how to produce. How to produce is basically the problem of choice of technique, dear student. Okay, which technique you wish to continue with which type of technique. Okay, so basically there are two type of technique. One is labor intensive technique and another one is capital intensive technique. So labor intensive technique means more of labor you are using in production of a good, and capital intensive technique represents more of capital you are using in production of a good. Okay, student, we will discuss the both the term later on. Now we will go through with our book. The second basic problem that every economy has to face is that of deciding how to produce the chosen goods and services. The particular quantity of a particular goods or services can be produced in many different ways. The economy has choose a particular way of producing a specific amount of goods. The problem related to choice of technique, as I told you, generally techniques are labor intensive technique and capital intensive technique. Okay, student, be careful that labor intensive technique means when more labor are used in production of a good rather than capital. Okay, when you use more labor, this technique is used by the poor countries or underdeveloped countries. Okay, student, now if you talk about capital intensive good capital intensive technique, then in this type of technique we use more of capital, like plants, machinery, factories, rather than labor. This type of technique is used by developed countries, and this type of technique is essential for economic growth, for the development of an economy. Okay, so if an economy wants to develop or grow in a faster in a speed or in a faster pace, so he must use capital intensive technique. And if the economy is slow, and if economy is more populated, then the economy will use labor intensive technique, okay, as compared to the capital intensive technique. In case of example, cloth can be produced either by using handlooms, okay, labor, and by little amount of capital, or using modern machinery, which is capital intensive technique. Okay, in the last guiding principle, the guiding principle here is so that maximum output is produced at minimum cost using lesser possible scarce resources. Okay, guiding principle represents that if you wish to minimize your cost and wants to maximize your output, you have to switch towards the capital intensive technique. Okay, a labor can produce two shirts or three shirts in a day, example, but a machinery can produce thousands of shirts in a day. So you have to choose which type of technique you wish to continue, or by which type of technique you wish to produce your goods and services in the economy. Student, now move to our next topic, next point, which is whom to produce. Okay, the third basic problem of allocation of resources, the problem of distribution of the produce or the product among the various individuals or factor of production. Okay, student, factor of production, you all know about factor of production: land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. All these are factor of production. So in other words, who should get more and who should get less? Okay, whether to ensure a minimum amount of consumption for all in the economy or not. Similarly, whether the basic education and health services should be freely available to all in the economy or not. Basically, whom to produce is the problem between this is the problem of the aspects of functional distribution and the personal distribution. Okay, student, basically in this part, whom to produce, we have to choose whether we have to produce goods for richer people, whether we have to produce goods for poor people. So we have to choose. Okay, we have to choose for whom we have to produce goods. If we choose production of goods for the poor people, okay, then we have to compromise with the quality of good. Okay, we have to compromise the GDP growth. Okay, then we will think about the welfare of the society. And if we choose goods for higher class of the society, then we produce luxury goods, good quality goods, okay, costlier goods. So because of this, GDP growth is possible, but not welfare. So for whom to produce, so we can say that for whom to produce is the problem of choice between social equality, on the other hand the GDP growth. Okay, so we have to choose social equality or GDP growth. Limited resources do not permit production of goods for all section of the society to the extent desired. So if GDP growth is to be promoted, social justice or equality to be sacrificed in some extent. Okay, student, so you have the choice. Again, you have the choice. If you wish to GDP growth, you have to sacrifice the social equality. You have to sacrifice with welfare of the people. And if you wish to go for welfare of the people, you have to sacrifice with the GDP growth. Because again the problem arises, whom to produce, richer section or poorer section. If you see, the problem has two aspects: functional distribution. This implies how the various social groups like landlords, capitalists, workers, entrepreneurs receive their relative shares of income when they produce the goods and services. This is called problem of functional distribution. The next one is personal distribution. The problem of distribution is also concerned with the problem of inequality in the distribution of income. Okay, unequal distribution of income. That is how the producer or income should be distributed among individual household in this society. As I told you, that this is particularly represents the personal distribution represent the distribution of income among poor or among richer section in the society. Okay, this represents the inequality in the economy. So we have to equal distribution of the goods. Okay, and we have to clear about what is our motive as a country or motive as a society, whether we have to go for the social welfare or we have to go for the economic development. So according to the country point of view, according to a nation, the perspective may be different. Okay student, that's it for today dear student. Okay, we will meet in our next lecture with our next topic, efficient use of resources and economic growth and development. Okay student, that's it for today. Stay safe, stay healthy.